Welcome back to the Deep Dive. This week, we're looking at this massive, and I mean massive, climate contradiction playing out right now in early 2026.
It is a moment of really intense global tension. You have to separate what's grabbing the headlines, this dramatic political stuff, from the underlying economic and, technological forces.
Which seem to be going in a totally different direction.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's try to unpack this. Our mission today is to understand how global climate goals can even survive when, policy in a place like the U.S. is in reverse.
But the market is just flooring it somewhere else.
Right. And just to be clear for everyone listening, we are analyzing public information, public reporting. This is our impartial take on the facts as they're being presented.
And that's the key. We're trying to figure out if the data actually supports the narrative, because those political headlines, they can be really misleading.
So let's start with that shockwave. The Trump administration on January 7th announced the U.S. withdrawal from 65 international organizations, including the UNFCCC.
The core UN climate framework.
Yeah. The U.S., an original signatory, is now the first major industrial nation to fully walk away. So, wait, how is that not a complete catastrophe? I see experts calling the impact practically limited. How?
Oh, I know. It sounds wild, right? But what the analysis suggests is that the impact is, well, symbolically huge, but practically limited.
Okay, what does that mean in plain English?
It means the U.S. was already, in a way, gone. They were in a de facto state of withdrawal. Funding had stopped. They weren't reporting emissions data since 2025.
So this is just making it official.
Precisely. And the practical implication is that the leadership vacuum is getting filled, and fast. You have other actors, China, especially ready to step up, and philanthropists like Michael Bloomberg are already moving to cover the funding gap.
So a political retreat on one side. But then you have this powerful economic force taking hold, mainly out of Europe. I'm talking about the CBM.
The Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism, it officially started taxing imports like steel and cement on January 1st. We're talking about maybe $10 billion a year in revenue.
And major exporters like China and India, they're calling it protectionism.
Oh, loudly. They were raising it at the COP30 meetings for sure.
But here's the really interesting part. The irony is that CBAM is, well, it seems to be forcing their hand.
It's accelerating global carbon pricing, isn't it?
Exactly. To avoid those EU tariffs, China's expanding its own carbon trading scheme. We're hearing Brazil, Mexico, Japan, they're all moving on their own carbon pricing systems.
So Europe has basically weaponized trade policy to push climate action without needing a big global treaty to do it.
And that market signal, it's really clear when you look at where the money is going.
Right, let's look at the investment data, because that tells the real story.
So climate tech investment was up 8% in 2025, hitting about $40.5 billion. But, and this is key, with 18% fewer deals.
Which means the money is consolidating, it's getting concentrated, and the driver has shifted. I mean, dramatically.
It's not about pure decarbonization anymore, is it?
Not at all. The key driver now is the incredible electricity demand from AI and data centers. That's where the money's going. Clean energy to power AI, grid resilience because our grids are aging, and climate adaptation tech.
And that shift is so intense. I saw a number that VC investment in things like sustainable agriculture.
It fell 90%, a staggering 90% last year. The takeaway is, if your tech doesn't solve a critical infrastructure problem like powering AI, it's struggling to get capital.
Wow. Okay, so let's see what that capital shift means on the ground. The EV market, for instance.
Yeah, the global EV market is expected to slow way down in 2026, only about 12% growth.
And in the U.S., it's worse. It could actually shrink by 15% because the administration repealed tax credits and relaxed fuel standards. They're calling it an EV winter.
An EV winter in the U.S., yes. But at the same exact time, you have cheap, Chinese, clean tech completely transforming developing economies.
Like in South Africa, right?
A perfect example. Cheap Chinese solar panels and batteries have pushed solar to almost 10% of their entire grid capacity. It's fundamentally changing the economics for their state utility, Eskom.
So it's this perfect illustration of the contradiction. Policy retreat and an EV winter in the U.S., but a market-driven solar boom in the developing world.
So what does it all mean? You have this major political setback in the U.S., no question, but these economic mechanisms like CBAM and this just relentless technological demand from AI, they're creating these powerful compensating forces. The machine is still moving forward.
Even if the government isn't the one driving.
Right.
So this all brings up a really important question for you to think about. As all this investment chases immediate returns, powering AI, fixing grids, are we making sure that the new infrastructure actually benefits the most vulnerable people?
Oh.
Or is this capital shift just going to leave behind crucial areas like sustainable agriculture and affordable energy access, making global disparities even worse?